Hey everyone, it's Fiktxun Crypto back at it again with another video, and today we're going to be covering a new ISO 20022 compliant blockchain. This is Cypherium. I've covered this on my channel before, but I took down the video because I wanted to do, a better video, just getting kind of straight forward to the point. So, before we get into this video, give us a follow at Fiktxun Crypto on Twitter to keep up with the latest XRPL related news. And we are covering other ISO 20022 compliant chains. Cypherium has a lot to offer, so let's get into it today. So we are on their Twitter right here. You see they are just shy of 24,000 followers. Almost my favorite two numbers, Kobe Bryant 24 and the 8 right there. So that's pretty cool. We love those numbers at Fiktxun Crypto. Let's scroll down their Twitter a little bit just to kind of see what we can pick up. And when I was scrolling down there, this was one of the first things I seen. So let's just read this thread. Cypherium is a founding member of the Digital Money Institute at the Official Monetary and Official Forum. So we hear these DMIs, digital money institutions, financial institution forum. We hear these digital and governing agencies starting to come in play. You hear things like the IMF. This is OMFIF. So we know we're getting some type of recognition from the big boys, the people who call the real shots. So this is really interesting. And then it said, check out their joint research on the future of payments. With the exceptional conveying power of an intensive network in the central banking community, OMFIF facilitates meetings around the world, bringing together experts on policy, investment, and regulation in the public and private financial sectors. Excuse me. So you already see what they're doing. And look at this, guys. OMFIF includes the world central banks, including BIS, Bank of England, the Bank of Japan, the CNBCZ, what's this? Bounds Bank, China Central Bank, the People's Bank of China, and then the Australian Bank, the State Bank of Australia. These are some huge partners. We know we have some. Oh, this is Deutsche Bank right here. These are Ripple partners, guys. These are people who are already partnered with Ripple. So this is really good to see. Cypherium is coming back to back with the real information. They're giving us real partnerships, things that we know that this blockchain is going to be around for a long, long time, if everything goes smoothly, and it seems like it is. So this thread states that Cypherium, along with the BCG, Boston Consulting Group, check out this. Guess who is following the BCG? Ripple. Ripple. Everyone. Unlocking potential. These keywords, unlocking, bridging. A lot of these things are coming into play, guys. So it says, with the research of the state of development regarding CBDCs, including the underlying benefits, advantages, challenges, and methods of implementation, they got more research for people to just check out right here. It said the key findings further outline some steps and approaches banks can follow to get prepared for this new payment rail that can completely reshape the payment service industry. So this is really, really crazy. They are already telling you they have the technology to change the world. Cypherium is a native utility token that can use to be sent for transactions or execute smart contracts. This is another interesting thing as we get deeper into this. I will explain this right here. Really, I actually kind of just want to explain it now since we're talking about it. Cypherium token can be used to deploy a transaction or used to deploy a smart contract. And the interesting thing about this is that the transactions have their own blockchain and then the smart contracts have their own blockchain. So, it keeps certain things off of network. We see this 1.7 million transactions per second being designed by the Fed. This is their CBDC, their digital dollar. And Cypherium only can facilitate only about 10,000 transactions per second. And what I've came up with, my conclusion is, and it definitely needs more research, that these networks are getting implemented for certain things. Cypherium may be for smart contract lending. You may have another network like XDC or Algo for different types of smart contract, because smart contracts, the people who create the smart contracts, that's a separate business from the people who create a system for identity and lending out smart contracts backed by collateralized assets. So it's a huge difference, guys. And what I'm starting to figure out is these networks don't need a bajillion transactions per second, because they're being designed to do something specific, and what is doing specifically will be a part of the new infrastructure of digital assets in the monetary system. They all have a place, and what they can do is program this money to make it do whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it. So that's my research I've been coming up with. It's really, really good research that we've been doing over here at Fiktxun Crypto. Just getting more and more into this world, because it's a huge world that unwraps when you start to dive in crypto. Cypherium has it going on when it comes to the information they're putting out. It says the enterprise level smart contract platform is a voting member of the faster payments and has a specialized subcommittee role on the safety and work group. So let me show you all what the faster payment group is. This is a faster payments council. It's a membership organization established so Americans can safely and securely pay anyone, anywhere, at any time with the near immediate funds available. So this is the new infrastructure of payments, payment rails, the things that go on behind the scenes. We've seen this problem come up with other blockchains of how they cannot do transactions offline. But we know with some of these ISO 20022 blockchains that they use SMS messaging to relay that transaction offline, so they can still make the transactions if the network goes down. And this is what Faster Payment Council kind of does. They kind of help facilitate these things, implement these things into people's businesses, new committees coming up, and more. So let's get into their white paper, and I already have it pulled up because I read this whole white paper. It's 2 hour and 28 minute read, but I read it. I did not play this, and this is one of the better white papers I've ever read. It's a little long and might bore a lot of people, but what this does, they literally give you every protocol, almost every protocol that we've seen in the crypto world, and they tell you the problem with it. So it's like, they have consensus, they have the problems and the attempted solutions for consensus. They got a DPoS, the PBFT, hot stuff in Libra, Cyber BFT, which they use, and just a bunch of different protocols and consistencies. So that is really cool. Let's get straight into this thing. So, what's the problem? And what is Cypherium? So Cypherium is basically a ISO 2002 compliant blockchain that is going to be used for smart contracts. The interesting thing about this is that they've made their own virtual machine, and it uses Java code. A Java machine. Interesting thing about this is that they've made their own virtual machine, and it uses Java code. A Java machine, or a widely adopted code language. So what that does is make the adoption of this technology easier. So it's a lot of other stuff going on, but that's kind of the basis around it. And we'll start off with the problem of smart contracts in the networks that they're on. So, you know, this is mainly talking about Ethereum. Ethereum has several great things and it has several problems. But on a financial level, when we get into the sizes of, you know, the data that they send, the information that they send, how these contracts are being built, Ethereum uses a 256 bit integer. The problem is Ethereum uses 256 bit integers. This says right here most popular computers and processors are built on 32-bit or 64-bit RSC architecture. As a result, most devices cannot support those operations and it slows down the computation speed dramatically. And this is the problem with Ethereum. This is why it is slower than what it's supposed to be. This is why it uses so much energy because they're sending these huge bit integers across the network. And what that is doing is not allowing the regular computers, the regular phones, the regular, devices that we have on a regular everyday basis, a tablet, it can't run on those bit integers. So the average bit integer that is in our phones and the standard, it's a standard, guys. It's a standard. Just like ISO 20022, they have a standard with integer bit they use. So the standard is either 32 or 64 bit integers. So also it goes over a couple of other problems. Ethereum has no data objects, and data objects are nowadays widely supported in the object oriented programming world. This is what I'm learning through code. I'm learning C sharp and C. This is what these blockchains are coded in, the language that they're coded in, WASM, Java, these languages that are easily adopted. Ethereum is on its own code language, Solidity, which has a lot of problems, a lot of bugs, a lot of communication problems. Is missing a standard library tool. Like it doesn't have a library in Ethereum to keep up with the things that it needs to keep up with, or to go and search for the things you need to search for. So it's a lot of technical things with Ethereum that goes into this, and I think people need to really kind of get into this technology more and read. So it's difficult to debug. It has very poor security, and it is very expensive to use, as we all know. So here comes the solution. Boom. This is the Cypherium virtual machine. So what Cypherium does by using this Java language, these Java APIs, it allows people to see the user interface, adapt to the user interface, because that's what an API is. It's basically the interface of a website, something like that, that's going to um, connect other people to something, like to the internet. So that's what an API is, a rundown of that. Java is a set of code language. It is the largest developer community. And the other thing about the Cypherium virtual machine is that it supports XML and JSON type formats, and those are the formats which financial institutions use. So it's a standard when you're talking about this stuff, when people are talking about these blockchains that are coming up, and anyone can create a blockchain from anywhere, but are you aligned with the standard of the world? It's a certain way that things work. Ethereum has their own code, and that's why I'm telling people it's going to be hard for Ethereum, any other person who's creating their own blockchain, if you don't understand this standard. It's just regular business, guys. And Ethereum is not coded in the right type of code language. So we may be able to see, somebody come in and create something for Ethereum where it will convert its code to, a different type of code, maybe Java or C plus, C sharp, something. You may be able to see something like that to keep Ethereum going in the future. That's the technical side of, these smart contracts. And and that's not, I didn't even dive deep in it. I really didn't dive deep in it. So let's keep reading about what Cypherium does. Cypherium allows all computing devices to run a CVM without affecting the consensus process of the blockchain computation results. So what that means is you can run these smart contracts on your phones, on your laptops, without overloading your device and making it potentially crash, do all of these other things, not even work, just like how Ethereum has these problems. So you can also run nodes on your phones and your computers. The network is allowed to categorize the computation power according to the device. This was another thing that we were going over as well. How it uses the computation power according to your device to categorize what smart contracts it is going to choose for that device to either go through, transact, run through, what node it's going to connect to, and so much more. This is a well thought out process. These smart contracts can be updated through a consensus vote, and a breached out contract can be trashed. I've never seen this with any smart contracting platform where you can vote on a smart contract. If you don't like it, you vote on it again before it gets to finality, and you can change it, and it won't affect the status of the new contract that you are voting into power. It won't affect anything. And it will actually overwrite that old smart contract and inherit that prior contract, the data of that contract, and just overwrite it. So no longer do we have to keep writing all these blocks, all this data, all this stuff. You can overwrite stuff that needs to be overwritten, messed up code, old proposals, things like that, and just completely save space. This is really, really good. It is compatible with the Ethereum virtual machine, and it allows users to deploy directly to Cypherium without any code changes. So this is what I was just talking about a little bit earlier, how there will be companies and people that integrate technology that decodes the Ethereum virtual machine and how it responds and reacts and communicates, make it easier for them, and then spit that code out in something like Java or Java SE, Java EE, Android, all these other type of things. So this is pretty cool. It's kind of like Vagabond in a more serious way. They're basically helping bridge these businesses come to the blockchain. We have some very interesting information about the nodes. Nodes in this network can upgrade without going down, and all the smart contracts have different computing capabilities. Cypherium believes that they should respond to such actions. And like we said earlier with the phones, your node can be a phone or it can be your computer. So this means we have nodes on the go. And the thing about this is the contracts having its computing sizes and capabilities. Like I said earlier, if your phone is a 32-bit integer phone and this computer is a 64-bit integer phone, your phone won't run the 64-bit integer file, but my computer will. So they will have things in that to understand what your technology limits are, and run the best smart contract for your device. This is very, very good. And got a little bit left. This is one of those that you kind of have to do a deep dive into. It's not one of those speculations. It's just facts. Good facts that you need to know about technology, blockchain, and a new project that's up and coming. This is an ISO 20022 coin. So let's get into the use case of this thing, which was one of the more um, crazier things. Was the use case. They are helping digital bank central bank digital currencies in a way, but they're helping them through digital identification. So this is a new form of identification shared via the root of trust, and that is another consensus mechanism. So Cypherium wants to turn registration into NFTs, or into smart contracts, excuse me, that record authorizations of signatures wrapped in a smart contract, or wrapped in an NFT, and certain functions on the blockchain. They want to be able to wrap these in smart contracts and basically issue them out, automatizing the world of identification. And this is how this will work. So this is their solution right here below. So the customers, the merchants, and the identity service providers, the supervising bodies. So these are the people who put the information in, and this is the system. So this is the identification layer. It identifies the initialization interface layer. Make sure you're who you are. Then it identifies the authentication interface layer. It makes sure that your identification is correct. Then it records that record. Now you have the supervision interface comes in and makes sure everything is straight. All the files are linking in with each other. And then we have the information retrieval interface. So this is going to be that loading screen. And this is, a transaction that's taking place on the internet. So below that surface level, you have this layer. This is where you're going to see the user API, the user interfaces, and it's going to have the registration, the authentication, the management. It's going to have all of these in that service layer. And then we have the smart contract module, the virtual machine, the contract management, the identity authentication, smart contract, which contract it's going to be, and then I have a blockchain module. So these blockchain modules are going to get picked for which one is the best module for whichever type of contract, the best contract for the best, action that is taking place over here. And then it gives you a decentralized storage system, which is a cloud. Cypherium does use a cloud for storage. A thing I like about this for the business people, even though it's not well known in work, one thing I did like about this is that they work on a first come first serve basis in business, meaning new adopters are prioritized and not just simply bigger corporations. So, y'all got problems with those type of things, but I haven't seen Cypherium like really marketing to smaller businesses. So more than likely the bigger businesses who they are going after, and they save money by not having to maintain a centralized database. So this cloud storage right here, this cloud storage level, you know, this is where they're saving the money, guys. The cloud is one of the most uh, economical things for businesses when it comes to storage. You don't have to carry around these heavy devices, all this crazy stuff, these rooms full of devices. No more. Just put it on cloud. So before we get out of here, I got one more thing to, really kind of say about this, and this is just my um, perspective. We see that the connections are here. We see that they are doing and are their alliance with the CBDC race, the digital identity race, and other things like that. I think we have to start to put on our big pants, our big boy pants, and start to realize that most of this stuff is just the same things as that we all have already. It's just moving to a world where they have unlimited control. You know, I think we need to start looking at these blockchains like different sectors, completely different markets. You know, Cypherium is helping with digital identity. That's not Ripple's focus. You know, that's not Algorand's focus. So we have to see what these blockchains are doing, and we have to start, kind of just seeing what it is for what it is. It's nothing new. The technology is very new, but what they're doing, what they're implementing is nothing new. It's just identifications, a simpler way, you know, it's nothing new, guys. So what is Cypherium? Cypherium is a ISO 20022 standard blockchain that has a transaction speed of 10,000 transactions per second. It's a smart contracting platform. They're partnered with Randstad, AWS, Google Cloud, and Microsoft. I didn't even go over their connections, their partnerships, because if it's ISO standard, you should already know who they're connected to. They uses a new model of consensus called Cyber BFT, which combines hot stuff and BFT. They have connections with the Bank of England, Bank of France, the ECB, the Bank of China. What makes Cypherium so big is that it's solving smart contracting issues by using less data and computing power and streamlining identities for retail merchants and institutional providers. This is really, really good to know. Cypherium has only 8.5 billion tokens, and look at the circulation, less than 200 mil, guys. So, are we seeing something where they're actually using this and they're keeping it off the market? This is very scarce supply. I hope everything's on the market because I would hate to buy in at this price and they just dump the rest of the coins on the market. We know what that is going to lead to. So everybody, it's Fiktxun Crypto. We are going to leave this video. Let y'all know, what do you think about Cypherium? Do you think it has potential on being that next top cryptocurrency or what? So it's been real, everybody. It's Fiktxun Crypto. You all have a nice one. Peace.